This literally just happened 2 minutes ago. Posted by anonymous Redditor. Alright, so I'm at this pizza spot as I'm typing this. While I'm waiting in the parking lot for the pizza, a car rolls up on the side of me. Okay, nothing weird at all. But for some reason, I couldn't stop looking at the girl who was driving the car. She looked super sad, like she was looking for something but nothing, and no one was in her car except her. I look away and then look back at her, and suddenly her car is filled with people. It tripped me out so much that I thought I was crazy. I looked away and looked back again, and the car was fucking gone. I'm tripping out right now, but I don't smoke or anything like that, and I don't think I'm crazy. So I'm really confused about what I just witnessed. Edit. When I looked away and looked back, it didn't take 3 minutes or anything like that. I glanced away and then looked back at her and the car. Edit 2. Just to be clear, the person wearing the mask was the front passenger, and the person smiling was the driver. A Wendys sign winked at my boss and I. Posted by financial-ferret-100. This happened back in early 2020 when I worked at Wendys. My boss and I were walking outside during a dead period to throw some trash away and shoot the shit. At one point, I look up at the sign and ask him if he sees what I see. Wendy only had one eye open and the other was visibly shut. We both looked at each other in surprise, and when we looked back, her eyes were both open again. We both said what we both saw. We both were freaked out. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. This isn't some fancy animatronic sign either. It's just a regular Wendy's sign that you can put letters on underneath, like the forever looking to hire or whatever it is along those lines. We haven't really brought it up since, but every time I even try to jokingly bring it up, he freaks out. Anyone else have any similar experiences? I saw myself sitting on a rocking chair next to my niece while she slept on a baby monitor and have never been so petrified in my life. Posted by basically it. This happened earlier last week at my sister's house. She lives about 5 minutes from me and has a 1-year-old baby girl who, when she goes to sleep, has a baby monitor in her room to make sure everything is okay. Anyway, my sister had just finished putting my niece to sleep, and I was watching her on the baby monitor. Nothing crazy, and it was during the middle of the week around 7:30 p.m. Well, my sister comes down, and we make some small talk while I'm on my phone. Then I randomly decide to check the baby monitor where there's a clear view of a rocking chair in place about 3 feet away from the crib. I saw myself sitting there, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, looking down at my phone in the rocking chair. I was fucking horrified, and I screamed to my sister about it and scared the shit out of her. I'd never seen anything like it in my life, and I didn't know how to react. When I looked up and she came rushing over to check the monitor, I was gone. Nothing. Just my niece sleeping in her crib in the dark, rocking chair totally empty. Obviously, we had to go check on my niece, and I was terrified. And my sister had a bat, but no one was there but her. Nothing out of place. I wasn't wearing what I had on that night though. I was clearly wearing a white t-shirt and gym shorts with Nikes on. I had my glasses on, and you could see bright cell phone screen in the dark as I hunched over it to look at it. I never looked at the camera, but could tell it was me. And I have not been able to sleep much since then. I can't get that picture out of my head, and the baby monitor doesn't record video, or else I would have gone back and looked. Probably the craziest thing to ever happen to me in my life. I was not high or drunk or anything like that. It was a normal weekday after work. Sudden and short shift into parallel universe. Posted by BB Shuri. This happened in 2012. I was very much in love with a guy, and one day we were hanging out in his car, just chilling. He was telling me a story about his nephew who had a schizophrenic episode or something like that, and I was just listening, totally into this story, when suddenly I found myself sitting in a different car with him. This specific car was an old-timer, and I had a wedding dress on. He had on a tuxedo. I remember feeling so happy and elevated, and he was a little bit grumpy because we were waiting for someone and there was this time pressure. We had to be at the venue. This scene lasted maybe 5 seconds, but everything was so real. I could feel the air, the atmosphere. I could feel my wedding dress, the temperature, the emotions, everything. I remember looking outside the window and seeing that we were parked beside a building, and the person we were waiting for was in this building. The building was on a hill, surrounded by nature. In a snap, I was back in the regular car with him, right at the moment he was finishing his story. I have no idea what he told me. At that time, I didn't know what the frick just happened, but now I can maybe see it as a glitch into a parallel universe where we did get married. Unexplainable phenomenon in my new apartment. Posted by Blar Blar. I just moved into a new apartment a couple months ago. In my bedroom, I have a king-size bed against the wall, and there are no neighbors on the other side of that wall. Also, it is on the top floor. The only people that sleep on my bed are me and my 2-year-old son. My son always sleeps in the middle, and I usually sleep on the outside part so he doesn't fall off. The other day, my son is sleeping next to me, and I'm just chilling on my phone when I hear this scratching. It's next to my son, and it sounds exactly like someone scratching their leg or something. It's otherwise completely silent in the room. I look at my son, and he is completely asleep on his back, with his arms up next to him. I'm racking my brain to figure out where this sound is coming from. I listen hard to make sure I'm not crazy. It's not the wall, it's not the floor, it's not outside. I 100% hear someone scratching their leg. It was dark, but I almost thought I could even see the imprint on the mattress of someone laying there. I dismissed it because, there had to be some other explanation, right? Then it happened again. But this time it was coming from towards the top of the bed and a slightly different sound. Like someone was scratching their head. I started getting a little freaked out, but this is a newly remodeled, nice apartment. There is no way it's haunted. Then it stopped. A couple days passed, and my hips started hurting. So while putting my son to sleep, I had laid on the other side of the bed by the wall. Once my son fell asleep, I was on my phone. Then I had a chilling realization. I heard the scratching sound again, but it was me. I was itching my head. A second later, it hit me that the day before, I could have sworn my leg was also itchy, and I was itching my leg while on my phone, but I didn't make the connection. I also realized that these instances all happened at the exact same times. I know it's the weirdest thing, but it genuinely felt like a glitch, and I don't know how to explain it. It was like I had heard or saw myself there 2 days before I was there. I just can't explain it, and I still think about it. Update. Unexplained phenomenon in my new apartment. Posted by Blar Blar. I heard the sound again. Basically, twice in a row. I heard a strange scratching or friction noise coming from my room or bed and thought there was someone next to me. A couple days later, I made the exact same sounds in the exact same spot at the exact same time. I considered this a glitch, like I was hearing myself before it happened. So I just heard the sound again. Most of you said it could be rodents, carbon monoxide, or my son grinding his teeth. These are all scary possibilities, but I took them all seriously and looked into them. So it turns out I have electric heating and stove, so I was told it's near impossible. It's not carbon monoxide related. It's 100% not my son. The sound was too far away from him and didn't sound like teeth grinding. As for rodents, I have spent the past couple days looking for every possible sign of rodents, and I have searched my whole, very small apartment from top to bottom. There are no signs. After hearing the sound again, I have determined that this sound 100% came from inside my room. It came from the air, probably a foot or two above my bed. It sounded exactly like someone was laying on my bed and decided to get up and use their hands to glide across the walls or bed to get to the floor. I am at a loss at this point and seriously freaked out. The sound was also louder than I remember. I'm considering taking this over to paranormal, but I just can't wrap my head around this being a ghost, and I'm not ready to accept that. I'm not crazy, and I need to know what this sound is, because there's something or someone in my freaking room, and I can't see them. Am I really hearing myself from the future again? I could still see myself talking in the mirror. Posted by Egypt_25. Hi all. First time poster here. I couldn't ignore these two things that happened on the same day. 1. I have a cheap Fitbit style watch that I wear all the time. About 2 weeks ago at work, I walked into a wall. I'm clumsy. That kind of stuff happens all the time. The watch scraped against the wall and I got a deep etched scratch right down the center of my face of it. I was really annoyed and resigned myself to the fact that I was probably going to have to buy a new one. This past Wednesday, having been looking at this scratch every day for 2 weeks, the scratch just wasn't there anymore. There is no evidence that it ever was there, but I know it had been. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy I don't have to buy a replacement, but it's messing with my mind a little. 2. Just after I discovered the disappeared scratch, I was in the pub. We were sat in a booth that had a mirror behind it. I was opposite the mirror, but had turned to say something to the person next to me. I turned back to facing the mirror when I caught the reflection lagging. My head had turned back, but my mouth was still moving. Now I'm pretty sure the second can be explained by the fact that I was tired and seeing things, but I don't know about the first.